Hi, my name is Singh, and I'm going to be presenting on police brutality. So, what is police brutality? Police brutality is defined as a civil rights violation where officers exercise undue or excessive force against a civilian. This can include physical or verbal harassment, physical or mental injury, property damage, and death. Police brutality can be associated with racial profiling. Differences in race, religion, politics, or socioeconomic status sometimes exist between police and the citizens. Um, when did it start? The term police brutality was first used by American newspapers in 1872 when the Chicago Tribune reported the beating of a civilian under arrest at the Harrison Street police station. Police brutality has been around for many years, but I think it became more apparent after the Rodney King incident. On March 3rd, 1991, King was violently beaten by LAPD officers during his arrest for fleeing and resisting arrest. In April 1992, hours after the four police officers involved were acquitted at trial, the Los Angeles riots of 1992 commenced. After facing a federal trial, two of the four police officers were convicted and received 32-month prison sentences. This incident was caught on video by bystanders, and it was a big turning point in how the LAPD reformed, and it was one of the first times the public was able to see police brutality up front. So there have been thousands of police brutality cases that ended tragically. Victims of police brutality are typically black men who are of lower economic status. This one here is of this 37-year-old Alton Sterling. I'm not going to talk about him too much, but I'm going to talk about uh, this guy, Eric Garner. So, Eric Garner was 43 years old from New York. On July 17, 2014, NYPD officers approached Garner on suspicion of selling single cigarettes from packs without tax stamps. After Garner told the police that he was tired of being harassed and that he was not selling cigarettes, the officers attempted to arrest Garner. One officer, Officer Palatino, placed his hands on Garner, and Garner refused to cooperate and pulled his arms away. Palatino then placed his arm around Garner's neck and wrestled him to the ground. With multiple officers restraining him, Garner repeated the words, "I can't breathe," 11 times. The officers did not resist until he went unconscious. He was unresponsive for 7 minutes and was transferred to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. The officers were not charged. However, Officer Palatino was fired in 2019. Video footage of the incident generated widespread national attention and raised questions about the appropriate use of force by law enforcement. Such attention was brought to the NBA, where all players wore shirts that said "I can't breathe," to raise awareness of this type of brutality and injustice. For example, this picture right here shows NBA star LeBron James, who is a advocate leader of the community. As you can see, he's wearing the shirt that says that what Eric Garner repeated before he died, "I can't breathe." Another case I wanted to talk about is the killing of 23-year-old Stephon Clark. This 23-year-old Black American man was shot and killed in Sacramento by officers Terrence Mercado and Jarrett Robinet in the backyard of his grandmother's house. The entire encounter was filmed by police video cameras, and officers stated that they shot Clark firing 20 rounds, believing that he had pointed a gun at them, and the police had only found a cell phone on him. The officers had killed this unarmed man, mistakenly thinking he had a gun on him. The officers were not charged. As you can see from these examples, it is obvious and clear that there are policemen who abuse their power and are not fit to be the protectors of our country. It is one thing to kill someone when your life is in danger, but it is another to choke someone to death and mistakenly shoot an unarmed black man because you thought he had a gun. Here are some statistics I had found. Each year in the United States, somewhere between 900 and 1,000 people are shot and killed by police. According to the Washington Post, around 1,000 people have been shot and killed by police in 2019, and roughly 992 people were fatally shot by police in 2018. According to the LA Times, 1 in 1,000 black boys and men in America are expected to die at the hands of police. The victims of police brutality are typically those of lower economic status. They tend to live in poorer neighborhoods where crime is common. And according to the NBC News, since 2005, research has shown that only 35 officers have been convicted of a crime related to an on duty fatal shooting. So, here are a couple graphs that explain who the victims of police brutality are. The graph on the left shows that black people are 3 times more likely to be killed by police than white people are. And it also shows that black people are 1.4 times likely to be unarmed compared to white people who are killed. 12% of white people who were killed by police were unarmed, compared to 17% of black people who were killed by police who were unarmed. The graph on the right shows that 99% of killings by police from 2013 to 2019 have not resulted in officers being charged with a crime. This issue has a great impact on society, with videos going viral of these brutal beatings or unnecessary black men being shot and killed, and there is no justice for these families. There tends to be a lack of trust in the police force in how they go about their job and how they are trained. People of color and of lower economic status live in constant fear of being a victim of police brutality. These cases of police brutality show us that racism and racial profiling is still prevalent, as it is exhibited amongst those who vow to protect the society. Lastly, police misconduct costs taxpayers millions. According to the Baltimore Sun, it is reported that $5.7 million in taxpayer funds were paid out to settle police misconduct cases between 2011 and 2014. So the question now is, what can be done to solve this problem? The most obvious answer is better training. There should not be any excuse as to why unarmed men are being killed via a firearm. I understand that when you're in the situation, it is an entirely different scenario versus me saying right now, like, if I was in the situation, I would say that, oh yeah, I wouldn't shoot that person. But it's probably definitely different when you're doing it in real life. But that is also why these guys and girls, go through the training that they do to protect the law and to protect, the citizens. If you do feel threatened, maybe don't shoot at a part of the body that will result in immediate death. Maybe shoot the leg to immobilize the person. Equipments such as body cameras could also prevent such tragedies. If you know you are being recorded, the likelihood that misconduct occurs is less likely. Body cams could also be reviewed to determine what went wrong and what could be done differently. Another big solution is disciplinary action so that officers do not get away with this abuse of power. As I had mentioned earlier, 99% of killings by police have not resulted in officers being charged with a crime. They just get a slap on the wrist. If police officers were held accountable for the behavior, I believe the frequency of wrongful police killings would drastically go down. Lastly, another solution is to bring awareness to not only this specific social problem, but any social problem in the world today. Problems don't change by staying silent. It changes through speaking out and protesting in a peaceful manner. This can be done through media as well. For example, the movie Fruitvale Station, starring actor Michael B. Jordan, tells the story about a 22-year-old black man, Oscar Grant, who was fatally shot by a police officer for no reason. Movies such as this bring light to social problems such as police brutality. Also, celebrities can use their platform to speak on issues such as this. For example, Colin Kaepernick. Colin Kaepernick was a former NFL quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers who protested police brutality in 2016. Kaepernick kneeled during the national anthem to call attention to the issues of racial inequality and police brutality. The reason he took a knee during the national anthem was because he said that the flag stands for freedom, liberty, and justice for all, and that's not happening for all right now. Because he decided to take a knee during the anthem, many people saw this as disrespectful, saying that he hates America and that he hates our military. Even Trump commented about it, saying, quote unquote, "Get that son of a B out of here." What many fail to understand is what he is taking a knee for. He is peacefully protesting against police brutality, yet he has received such negative criticism. What did he lose because of this protest? He is currently unemployed, as NFL team owners refuse to sign him. In fact, NFL owners have quote unquote blackballed him, as they colluded together to agree that they would not allow him on a team. So here's a short clip I'm going to show of explaining why Kaepernick, took a knee.
Country. Here's how he responded to critics on Sunday.
I'll continue to sit. I'm going to continue to stand with the people that are being oppressed. To me, this is something that has to change. And when there's significant change, and I feel like that flag represents what it's supposed to represent, and this country is representing people the way that it's supposed to, I'll stand. This stand wasn't for me. This stand wasn't because I feel like I'm being put down in any kind of way. This is because I'm seeing things happen to people that don't have a voice, people that don't have a platform to talk and have their voices heard and affect change. So I'm in a position where I can do that, and I'm going to do that for people that can't.
Dr. Todd Boyd.
Okay. So what does Colin Kaepernick do now? Well, Colin Kaepernick completed his pledge to donate $1 million to charities that serve oppressed communities across the nation. His admiration to the cause inspired many celebrities to match his donations, such as the late Kobe Bryant, Kevin Durant, J. Cole, Alicia Keys, and Snoop Dogg. He created the Know Your Rights camp to raise awareness on higher education, self-empowerment, and instructions on how to properly interact with law enforcement in various scenarios. With all the backlash that Colin received when he decided to make this stance, he lost everything. He lost his fans, his job, and he was one of the most hated people in America. Even through all that, Nike decided to endorse and support Colin Kaepernick. Here was a clip of a 2019 commercial that Nike made for their Just Do It campaign that features Colin Kaepernick.
If people say your dreams are crazy, if they laugh at what you think you can do, good. Stay that way. Because what non-believers fail to understand is that calling a dream crazy is not an insult. It's a compliment. Don't try to be the fastest runner in your school or the fastest in the world. Be the fastest ever. Don't picture yourself wearing OBJ's jersey. Picture OBJ wearing yours. Don't settle for homecoming queen or linebacker. Do both. Lose 120 pounds and become an Iron Man after beating a brain tumor. Don't believe you have to be like anybody to be somebody. If you're born a refugee, don't let it stop you from playing soccer for the national team at age 16. Don't become the best basketball player on the planet. Be bigger than basketball. Believe in something, even if it means sacrificing everything. When they talk.
So, I showed that video, to emphasize the importance of speaking up about any social problem that you were concerned with. There was a quote that Kaepernick said, believe in something, even if it means sacrificing everything. It's just really important to, to use your voice and be heard if you have a problem with any social problem that's going on in the world. It's important to do that. For me, I would say the social problem that I am most concerned with is also police brutality. I actually have this shirt that reads hashtag I'm with Cap, and I would receive a lot of negative comments when I was wearing this shirt, but also strangers have also come up to me and thanked me for showing my support for Colin Kaepernick. It is important to use your voice. Change doesn't happen by being silent. It comes by influencing others to speak up, such as what Kaepernick did. And we as a society must continue to fight against, uh, to fight for what is morally correct. And yeah, that's it. Thank you for listening to my presentation.